What's up, everybody? Welcome to SLC Puck. I'm your host, Austin Facer. What a delight to be here with you on Sunday, August 18th, year of our Lord 2024. I almost forgot which year it was. 2024. It's going to be a year that's going to be hard to forget, though. You know, it's the first year ever for the Utah Hockey Club. That's going to be crazy fun. I mean, the Delta Center is going to be busy just about every day of the year. I don't know if you saw, like, they're going to have jazz games, you know, Utah Hockey Club games, concerts, UFC, everything in between, and like a crazy stretch. I don't envy the arena people who are going to have to turn the ice over and the basketball court, you know, within 24 hours a few times. That's going to be crazy. So fun to see, though. Big things happening. We're getting closer and closer to October 8th, opening night against the Chicago Blackhawks. There's going to be hockey before that, though. We're going to see guys in Utah Hockey Club uniforms in the next month, I believe. I think they're going to have a rookie showcase in Los Angeles pretty soon. And then preseason games at the Maverick Center, Delta Center, one in Iowa. So, you know, stay tuned for that. That's going to be a lot of fun. But also coming up is Halloween. And who doesn't love Halloween, right? And I've got the perfect little thing for your Halloween costume if you're going to be in the market for something like that. Why not get the mask on tee from slcpuck.shop? Ooh, isn't that spooky? Kind of looks like Jason, you know, with a mohawk and SLC Puck underneath it. That's at a screaming deal, $22. I try to do this at cost. Oh, I gave away what we're going to be talking about on this episode. Bouncing back and forth between my screens here. I want to give a big shout out, first of all, before we hop into the show. Earlier this week, I had the pleasure of being on the Clean Hits podcast with Brad and Trent, those guys down in Arizona who are continuing to cover the team in a more serious way, a more detailed, analytical way. And for some reason, they asked me on to ramble and rant incessantly about movies and my hockey background. It was a lot of fun, so please check out that episode. Support those guys over there at Clean Hits Hockey. But, you know, it was funny. We did like a ranking system at the end, which Brad, by the way, set Trent and I big time to look stupid. Thanks a lot, Brad, for making us look like big dummies on that one. But it was a lot of fun. I thought it was kind of a cool concept for a show. And, you know, we're still in the dog days of summer here. It's August. Not a ton of news as of late. And this is a news show after all, and I'm a serious journalist. But I thought it'd be fun today if we went through and did sort of a tier list of Utah, or not Utah, but all NHL clubs and their look, you know, like their logo, all that. Obviously, there's been a lot of talk about the Utah Hockey Club. Right here, we can see they have a temporary name, temporary look this season. How does it measure up? How are they going to look against these brands that are so refined in the NHL? And, you know, obviously, you know, I have the thesis that they're going to be the Utah Yeti next season. You know, famously, they're doing the name voting contest, which I've maintained from the start as a sham election, fake news. And by the way, we haven't heard anything about this in weeks, and if not months. So, you know, hey, whatever. It was reported this week, though. I saw this on Twitter that they're going to have these Utah Hockey Club jerseys ready for sale around 2025. So you're probably not going to get one for Christmas. You can probably get a knockoff, you know, from somewhere. Will slcpuck.shop have knockoffs? Probably not. But, you know, you can get a knockoff somewhere, or you can get the legit one, you know, at the team store or whatever, probably around January, probably even at the end of the season. You know, it might be that late. And by then, it'll be time to roll out the new Utah Yeti brand, and you'll have to buy another jersey. So really, really, you know, interesting, funny timing there. But that's just the way it worked out. You know, the team got here so fast. I think it was kind of a blur. They weren't able to get, you know, all the merch ready in time, and that's just the way it's gonna come together. But anyway, I thought we'd take a look at the NHL as a whole, the logos, the looks, the brands that make up the NHL family. And put them into these tier lists. I don't know if you've seen this. This is something that like I see all the time on YouTube. You know, Brad from Clean Hits said that he's addicted to these kinds of things. So I'm looking forward to Brad seeing this and weighing in. on my takes. But what I want to do here, I got all the NHL team logos here, and I'm going to evaluate them not only on their logo, but kind of like their overall look and vibe and all that. You can see I have my favorite NHL team's look on right now. It's a Paul Kariya jersey. If you've been following the show for some time, you know I'm like a huge Paul Kariya fanboy. So, this shouldn't be any surprise that I have a Paul Kariya jersey. So we'll just dive right in here. And again, I'll just break this down by tiers. You'll see S, A, B, C, D. The S stands for superior brand. That's what that tier stands for. But we'll go ahead and put these into categories here. And I'm saving the Utah Hockey Club for last. And that's my way of getting you guys to stick around and building what I like to call the retention rate here on YouTube, boosting my analytics. Doing what I can here, folks. Doing what I can. So let's start with, I think, the brand that I'm wearing right now. And they went back to their original look and put it in the Orange County colors. I'm referring to the Anaheim Ducks. They went back to the duck to the Wild Wing look here, added gold, added orange. They made it a little bit meaner here. You can see I have my cursor over it. And again, if you follow the show on Spotify or Apple or wherever you get your podcasts, I would recommend switching over to YouTube for this one. This is going to be like by far the most visual episode yet, but I will try to be as descriptive as possible for you people who enjoy listening to the soothing sound of my voice in the car, which, if you've been my Uber driver, you know how good that can be. So let's start with the Ducks. And hey, no surprise here. I'm going to put them tippy top at S. This is to me, and these are all my opinions. I'm right though. Everything I say is right and true. It's a great look. I'm glad that they went back to their original look. It's funny. I think you see this trend a lot in sports where, I think you see teams had a certain look during a certain period of time where they built, a lot of brand equity, where they had like a lot of success. Obviously, the Ducks went to the Stanley Cup Finals with with this look that I'm wearing. Paul Kariya off the floor, on the board. So I think this mask has a lot of cachet already. It's what the people think of when they think of the Ducks. So to go back to this look, is like it's what they got to do, and I think it's a great look, and I love it. So we're going to put that tippy top. We're going to start strong. And we're going to go in alphabetical order here, except for Utah Hockey Club, which is going to be last. Next up, we'll do the Boston Bruins. This is sort of like a clean take on an old look here. The B with the spokes here. I think overall they look pretty good. I like their uniforms too. It just has a crisp kind of simple but sophisticated. They say the ultimate sophistication is simplicity, and I think the Boston Bruins sort of exemplify this in the NHL. So I'm going to put them as an A tier. Okay. Now here and I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Austin, is everybody going to be an S or an A tier? No, they're not. Okay, because I'm going to start to get a little critical here. Next up, we got our boys over there in upstate New York, the Buffalo Sabres. Again, we've seen them try a bunch of different looks over the year. The Buffa Slug comes to mind. That was horrendous. So they definitely learned their lesson, going back to sort of like the look they had in the 70s. It's a Buffalo. There's a couple of Sabres crossed, hey, a little heavy handed. It's fine. But I just, are all the Buffalo teams going to have a Buffalo in them? I guess they probably have to, but I don't know. I just, Buffalo Sabre, I think it's okay. I'm not willing to go much higher than that. I think it's okay. We're gonna give them a C. It's not the worst, but it's not the best. Okay. We'll hop back over to Canada, to the other side of the map here. Our friends in Alberta, the Calgary Flames. It's funny about the Flame, and I talk a lot about my family on the show, but Dad here, his pictures over here. It's kind of off camera. He did his mission in Calgary, Edmonton back in the day. His Mormon mission. I grew up LDS. I don't know if you guys caught all that. And so he always kind of had an affinity for the Flames. And, I think now that T. Ginla is a part of the Utah Hockey Club, I think there's also going to be a lot of interest in from Flames fans in the Utah Hockey Club, which is kind of cool. I love their look. I think the C with the flame coming off of it is cool. It's like the perfect embodiment of their name. I like that look a lot. So I'm going to go ahead and put them right next to the Boston Bruins in the A tier. Okay. Now, we're hopping back to the other side of the map, the Carolina Hurricanes. I feel like I said that wrong. I almost said Hurricane, which is the town in southern Utah that they pronounce weird for some reason. Carolina Hurricanes. I see their look as sort of a lot like the Portland Trailblazers, and it does look a lot like the Trailblazers. To be honest, it's this one right here. Obviously it's a hurricane. With I feel like I'm saying that weird for some reason. Hurricane. Am I saying that weird?
No, I think it's just because you hear hurricane.
I think I hear the hurricane from that town in Utah a lot, and so hurricane feels weird for some reason. But I get that there's the puck here, but again, I think it's like a little too artsy fartsy. I think there's got to be other ways to embody that. I really like their flag logo they have that has the warning flags for hurricanes. Yeah, it feels so weird. I don't know what it is. I feel like I'm saying that weird, but I feel like there's other ways to show. I don't feel like this primary logo is untouchable either. I get that they've won a Stanley Cup, and maybe that's the feeling that creates what makes a logo untouchable. They're not, in my opinion. I think this logo could use a refresh. So I'm going to put Carolina here at the D tier, the lowest tier. All right, that's what I'm thinking here. Now, next up is our first opponent, our first regular season opponent here in Utah. It's going to be the Chicago Blackhawks. They've had kind of an iconic look. They're an original six team. Hasn't changed too much over the years. It's a Blackhawk. It's a Native American. It's got the face paint, the war paint, the feathers, all that. Good stuff. It's interesting. This team has sort of survived like the movement to phase out Native American imagery. I think it's because they know if like that fan base, if they change the look, the fans would go bonkers. It's just a little untouchable. But you got to feel like that team has had it wants to start a new chapter in its history. They've had a lot of controversy over the last few years. They've got a new superstar, Connor Bedard. They do a lot of things right. Like I love their red uniforms. I think the pipings on the sleeves look good. But I wonder if it's time to keep the Blackhawks name. That's fine. And I think you can keep this general look. But I wonder if there's a way to modernize it, make it a little simpler. There's a lot going on here in the hair area. Is there a way to just do this but do it more modern? And I don't know. And this is what I'll say. I'll say just because a look in the NHL is kind of iconic, it doesn't necessarily mean it's good, and that's what I'm gonna reflect here in my rankings. That's the criticality that I'm gonna bring to my evaluations here. And again, I'm right. I'm always right. So I'm gonna put them again next to the Sabres here. They're not the worst, but it's not great either. Now we'll move to who I believe could be one of our rivals in the hockey world, the Colorado Avalanche. Now, here's what's interesting about the Colorado Avalanche's logo, okay? Now, it was supposed to be, you can see here, it's kind of a cranberry and blue. It's the same colors as the DCYHA, Davis County Youth Hockey Association, the Wind, so the Wind is an homage to the Avalanche in a lot of ways. So it's a logo that, I'm very familiar with my whole life. I think it's a good embodiment of Avalanche and A with, snow falling down. There's a puck, obviously. But here's what's interesting about this. I don't know if you guys have ever heard the story. They were actually supposed to be red and green, Christmas colors. But when they were printing out the logo to show Gary Bettman, just a mock-up, there wasn't enough blue ink in the printer. There wasn't enough green, or whatever combination of cyan and yellow and red makes green. There wasn't enough green ink in the printer, so it came out blue. And they were like, hey, this is what it looks like. It's supposed to be green, just so you know. And Gary Bettman saw it, and he's like, oh, let's just do blue instead. Blue looks way better. So it just accidentally became blue, which is kind of funny. So, but here's the other thing about their look. I grew up in the Joe Sakic, Peter Forsberg, Patrick Waugh era where, they had this look, but with black helmets and black pants and black gloves. And that's just what I'm used to. They switched to like blue pants, blue helmets, blue gloves. I just don't like it as much. I'm just more used to the black, accessories and all that. So I think it's an okay look though. I'm gonna put them middle of the road. Put them in B. We'll go to Columbus, the Blue Jackets. They've tried a bunch of things. I kind of missed that bug they did back in the day. They used to do a bug logo. Haven't seen that guy in a while. I think they did the reverse retro jerseys that had that. I don't know. I think it's just kind of boring. I don't love it, but it's kind of a tricky name to pull off visually. So, it is what it is. I'm going to put them in the C tier. The Dallas Stars, they had a great rebrand. The big D in the middle of the star. Switching over from like the look they had for quite a while. This is somewhat recent. They changed this in the last few years. I do kind of like this. I think it's pretty good. I don't know if it's great though, so I'm willing to put it. Let's go B tier here. It's close. I would say it's right on the border of B and A. But they had that look from like the Mike Modano era. They would be much lower. So hey, they moved up the ladder quite a bit. Now we'll go to one of the iconic teams here, the Detroit Red Wings. The Detroit, again, this is probably one of those untouchable looks, but just because it's iconic doesn't mean it's good. Red Wings, I think Red Wings are named after like a tire company or something. That's why, that. There's a story there. I don't know what it is. But again, it's one of those iconic logos that I don't think you'll ever see changed up too much. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's good. So I'm putting it in the same category as the other guys that I've talked about the same way. Edmonton Oilers. Again, it's kind of the same look they've had since like the 70s, since the Gretzky era. And, if you're the team that Gretzky is most associated with, you can't really change the uniform that he wore, And I'll say this, the bright orange, the bright blue works pretty well. There are a couple other teams that have that look, notably the Islanders. I guess they might be the only one. But, it's okay. I would say, just because it's kind of untouchable being the Gretzky team, I think you probably need to put them at B. All right. Now we'll go to Florida. They had a big rebrand a few years ago. If you look, their uniforms are like really military inspired. There's a lot of military elements, and I think it's because they play in like an area where there's like a lot of military retirees, so they want to appeal to them and all that. They're in Sunrise, Florida. It's pretty good, and now that they've won a Stanley Cup, they're probably locked into that look for quite a while. I would say it's okay, and I'm gonna put it in the B tier. Now, another team that had a rebrand this offseason was the Los Angeles Kings, and like the Ducks, they decided to go back to like a throwback look, a look that they had, earlier, that they had in their heyday, and it's a look that's also associated with Wayne Gretzky, much like the Oilers. So I think this is the look you're going to see the Kings have for the foreseeable future. I think it's pretty good. Black and silver. I think every sports league, I should say, should have at least one team that has that monochromatic, silver black look. The Las Vegas Raiders have that look. I think in basketball, you could say the Brooklyn Nets are black and white. They have that look. And the Kings fill that void in hockey. So it's a good look. It's clean. I'm going to put it in the A tier. Okay. I like it. Now here's a logo that I really like, that I really want to get, I'll give you guys a closer look at. Okay. And I'm hoping a lot of you guys are new to hockey, and this will be kind of your aha moment here, where you're going to see how damn clever the person who did this logo is. I'm just trying to pull it up here so you guys can see here. Now, Minnesota Wild, you're like, okay, how do you embody that in a logo? Now, let me show you. If you just kind of look over it with glazed eyes, you might not be able to tell. But what they did is actually pretty slick. And I'll just show you guys here. Let me just see if I can move this over a bit. Okay, cool. Now, you might just see, okay, it looks like a jumbled mess. I can see some trees. I don't know what that is. Maybe a stream. I guess that's like a moon. That's a star. But look at the big picture here. All right, look at the shape of it. It's actually the shape of like a bear head, right? Isn't that kind of cool? It's the shape of a bear head, and they just embedded these little elements in it. So this stream is the mouth. The star is the eye. You can see the nose there. It's like the ear, the bump. and that's the tree line that's just in there as well. It gives a little definition. So it's kind of a really cool, clever look. And when you realize that, you have that aha moment. And I feel like the Milwaukee Brewers have a logo like that, where you just go aha, like like the Brewers just have like the baseball glove. But then when someone explains to you that there's the M and then the B in it, you're like, oh, holy hell, that's a cool logo. I feel like the Wild have that logo in hockey, where you just go, wow, that's cool. That was clever. I don't know how they came up with that. And so that I do really like that. I think being the state of hockey up there in Minnesota, they make it look pretty good. And I think they lean into it, like the brown gloves and that tan leather look. I think they look really nice. So I'm going to put them at A tier. Now another iconic look that I think is pulled off decently well. The Montreal Canadiens. I don't think you'll ever see this logo change. They're kind of like the Chicago Cubs, the New York Yankees of hockey. The CH, Canadiens hockey, that's iconic. I wouldn't say it's great though. It is what it is. It's gonna be there forever. I'm gonna put them in the B tier. Now this is a team that I feel like could use like a rebrand, a refresh. Here is the Nashville Predators. I think they have a great name. I think they arguably have one of the best names in hockey. I just wish that the logo was maybe a little bit better. They did this alternate logo where the saber-tooth tiger, and I guess they do the saber-tooth tiger logo because I think that those fossils have been found in the Tennessee, Nashville area. Again, don't you guys love that this is not only me telling you guys about logos, but giving history lessons as well that you can, and I think these are true. That's the fact checking I'm willing to do on this. I think they're true. And now you can go, say these around the water cooler to your friends. Say, hey, the Utah Hockey Club is playing the Nashville Predators. They have a saber-tooth tiger logo because they found it. And then you can bore your friends. And that's what I'm trying to do here at SLC Puck. But again, I think they could do this logo in like a cooler, more dynamic way. The side profile doesn't really do it for me, but I think there's a lot of potential there. But I think they can refresh it. I think they have good colors too: the blue, the gold, the white. Sometimes they do a little bit of silver. I think it looks pretty good. So I think there's potential there. They do if they refresh this, make it look a little better. I'm willing to move them up. But for now, just because they have it's just a little I'm gonna put them at C. All right. And moving right along, we'll go back to the East Coast. New Jersey Devils. Again, they've won some Stanley Cups with this logo, so they're probably locked into it. And I think it looks pretty good. There's the N, the J coming down, New Jersey, and then you can tell it's a devil, horns, pitch, the tail, all that. It's fine. I would say I'm going to give it middle of the road and put it right here at B. Now the Islanders, this is a funny team in NHL logo history. If you know anything about uniform logo history in any sport, you probably have heard the story about the New York Islanders and their failed rebrand that I don't even think lasted more than a season, when they switched to a fisherman logo in the mid '90s that was almost unanimously hated because I can't remember the name of the chicken strip, or not the chicken strip, but the fish stick brand. It kind of looks like the guy from that box on the fish stick brand, and that's why it was so mocked. You can see it right here. It's okay, but again, it was one of them, like one of those moments where they were really swinging for the fences, and I think they just decided that it would be better to go back to a more simple look, and they won a lot of Stanley Cups, especially in the 70s with this look. But again, it's a little but I think they're locked into it because they've had not a lot of success trying something different. So I'm gonna put them at C. Okay. Rangers, again, that's another iconic logo. I think but just because it's iconic doesn't mean it's good. I would say it's fine. So I'm gonna put them at C as well. Ottawa Senators, again, they've tried a couple different things. They do like a Roman senator kind of brand, which is fine, I guess. I don't know. Again, I'm not crazy about side profiles. I like dynamic, face-on stuff. That's why I do the show facing the camera. I don't do the show like this. That would be insane. I do the show like this. So I'm going to put them at D. I think they could use a new look. The Phillies, again, the Phillies are one of the few teams that have not changed the look at all. This is the look they've had since the 60s. Or did I say the Phillies? It's the Philly Flyers. The Phillies are the baseball team, Philly Flyers. I think they look all right. So, I think it's okay. I'm gonna put them in the middle of the road at B. That's kind of an arbitrary decision. The Penguins, again, they're another team that's like, swung for the fences in the 90s and tried a different sort of imagining of Penguins, and then went back to this original look that they've had since. You got to wonder, though, like when Crosby hangs them up maybe the next year or two, if they're going to go like enter a new era with a new look, that might signal, a new start for them. But I think they look pretty okay, so I'm going to put them... I like when they added the powder blue a lot. And just thinking about the powder blue, I'm going to put them at A. Now, the Sharks, the San Jose Sharks, I think along with the Nashville Predators, they have a great name, but I think they could use a new logo. Just looking at it a little bit closely, from this distance, it looks pretty good. But when you look at it like really close, it looks really cartoony. It's just kind of cheesy. And again, like it's we're almost at face on. It's still a little side profile for me. I'm going to put them at C, okay? Because I think it's time for them to explore something new. Maybe, Macklin Celebrini's there. New era, new look, huh? Right or right? Yes or yes? Now, I know you're thinking, Austin, this thing is becoming like a little bit bottom heavy, right? You have lots in C's, a couple in D, and only one in S. Oh, and so predictable, the Anaheim Ducks. I'm about to put another one in the S tier. And it's the S logo. It's the Seattle Kraken, who I just think they have a killer brand. The way they rolled it out was great. The name is awesome. It's going to be a name like the Utah Yeti, where it's kind of like a singular, like mythical creature entity. Very non-offensive, but I just think their look is awesome. The red eye, the tentacle through the S, I think looks really cool. So I love that. They're going to go S tier up there with the Duckies. And going back here, Blues. Blues. I think again, it's one of those, like, they've had the same look since like the 60s, and I would say just because it's iconic doesn't mean it's good, but they're probably locked into it. I don't know how they can refresh that. I mean, it's a music note, blues music, we get it, but again, it doesn't mean it's good. So I'm gonna put it at C. Now I'm gonna put another one at D here, okay, and this is why the one I'm gonna put here at D is the Tampa Bay Lightning. And I think Lightning is it's a strong name, but I don't like their logo. I'll tell you this. I think it's a little on the boring side. Just like one lightning bolt through like through a circle. Come on. I think there's more you can do. I think let's see those ne'er-do-wells in Tampa with their soft warm ice and no state income tax, do a little bit better with their logo. I think it's a strong name with a boring logo. And they just do like a very monochromatic look, just the white and blue. It's a little bit too much like the Toronto Maple Leafs, who I'm going to talk about in just a moment. So I'm going to put these guys at D. All right. I think it's time for them to have a new look. Now, as I said, the Maple Leafs, they're one of those untouchable teams, like the Dallas Cowboys, the New York Yankees. It's going to be a hard one to ever, do differently. And I think they look okay. I think it's fine. I think they pulled off okay. I think you've seen them try some other things to appeal to like a different demographic. I think Justin Bieber's done an alternate uniform for them. They're trying, and I'm going to give them credit for trying different things, for being like a legacy team. So I'm going to put them in the B's. All right, they should be in the C's, but since they're trying, they're going to be they should be in the C's, but yeah, since they're trying, they're going to be in the B's. Okay. Now another one, I'm gonna put these guys high. I'm gonna put these guys high here. These ones coming up here. Vancouver, the Orca logo, I really like a lot. You see that on totem poles in the Pacific Northwest area. Vancouver's right there. Good embodiment of the area. They've tried these guys have really tried some crazy stuff over the years. They've done those V uniforms, and they've done crazy stuff over the years. But I think this works for them, leaning into the local heritage, and that's something I appreciate, is when you lean into local heritage, and that's what the Vancouver Canucks do. Vegas Golden Knights, the V in the Knight helmet looks awesome, and here's what's great about this logo: it looks great in 3 dimensions. And what I mean by that is they literally have like a big Golden Knight helmet, just like this, that the players skate out of to take the ice. It looks great, and I'm going to put them in the S tier for that, since it's a logo that can be realized in 3 dimensions and look great. Now I'm gonna go from the tippy top of the list to the bottom, because I think the Washington Capitals belong at the D level. I right now, it's their look is mainly the typeface, the word mark, Washington Capitals. There's just so many letters there. There's like 50 letters in Washington Capitals. It's a little overwhelming. Give me like a quick, easy way to visualize this. I think bring back the eagle, but do it in a different way would be cool. Keep the colors, obviously, red, white, and blue. It's got to be that, nation's capital. But, look, I mean, all those letters are just so distracting. And what's like the thing? Like a hockey stick? Come on. Like, there's so much storytelling you can do about the Washington, D.C. area. And, I guess there's stars, right? But, give me more. Is what I'm saying. Give me a little bit more. Yeah. And I think a team that really does a pretty good job of bringing like their name into like a visual sense, like pretty effectively, is the Winnipeg Jets. But, obviously this is like a modern iteration of the original Jets, but I think this looks pretty good. I mean, you can tell it's a jet right away. On the maple leaf right there. So, it's Canada. I think it communicates effectively who this team is and what they're about, what their name is, and does it very quickly from a visual standpoint. So I'm gonna put them in the A tier. I think it's pretty good. Now, drum roll, please. Here we go. The moment you guys have been waiting 30 minutes for. If you're still with me, my God, you're the greatest person in the world right now. You're awesome. I'm sure I lost many people very quickly along the way. Was this the funniest episode I've ever done? Probably not. Was this the most interesting episode I've ever done? Probably not. But you made it. You're here. And now you get to see where I'm going to rank the Utah Hockey Club's logo, the temporary one, the circle one. And I know you're excited. And I'm debating how much longer I should make you wait, because you've already been here for 32 minutes. I'll just do it right now. I'm going to put them at C. Okay. It's a temporary look. It's simple. The joke was like what? Their logo looked like something that could be made in Canva in a couple minutes, right? With not take very long to put together.
That's what you should do for your next episode. See how long
it'd be funny. Yeah, maybe I'll just do that. Maybe I'll just open up a Canva file and just see how long it takes me to recreate the Utah Hockey Club logo. But I'll put them there. I am very excited though. I think the colors are cool. The blue, the black, the white. I maintain purple will be implemented in the same way and because the Jazz have sort of almost the same look. This plus purple. I think my guess is Ryan Smith wants to have something like what Pittsburgh has, where all their teams share similar colors. It kind of creates a cohesiveness. Like when you think purple, you think black and yellow, right? So in Utah sense, it would be purple, blue, purple, blue, purple, blue. And I think that would be pretty cool, pretty good way to create unity, right? But for now, the temporary look, I'm going to put it at C. But I do think the jerseys look cool. The diagonal Utah down the front is going to look all right. It's going to be a decent temporary look, and I think that's the most we can hope for, right? Well, this has been a long as hell episode. Again, we're in the dog days of summer here. We're just trying to get content up, and we appreciate you guys for tuning in. If you hung in there the whole time, wow, you're a remarkable person. You are truly an inspiration, and you should be applauded for your attention span. But we'll get back to you soon. More episodes, more fun on the way. SLC Puck. Don't forget to check out slcpuck.shop for merch, and we'll talk soon.